Hey, it's Jack, no K, Jack in the attic. I debated whether or not this video would be worth making. I really liked the idea of making my single skein shawlette video into kind of a series, switching it up with different accessories when I can, and I love a cowl, so I thought that would make perfect sense. My hesitation was like, how much variety can there really be in such a simple accessory? And then I got on Ravelry and I was proven completely wrong instantly. There's so much variety. I'm going to share 20 knitting patterns and 20 crochet patterns similar to last time. Maybe exactly the same as last time. I don't remember and I didn't think to check. These are all cowl patterns that you can create with a single skein of sock yarn. That's the most important part. I am not immune to picking up a single skein of something special and then holding on to it forever. So these videos are as much for me as they are for you. Also, a lot of these patterns are free. Can you hear the ice cream truck? It's been storming all day. Didn't expect that. We're gonna have to move on with the ice cream truck in the background. The cowl I'm wearing gets an honorable mention, the brioche bandana cowl, because it's the correct yardage for a single skein, but it is brioche. You can do brioche with one color if you want to, it's just not something I see a lot. This is the perfect cowl though if you have two leftover half skeins or two 50-gram skeins to use up. We will start with the knit cowls, and the crochet cowls will start at this timestamp. Starting off with the delicate foliage cowl. If you're familiar with my channel, I believe this is very similar to the lace on the autumn leaves top I knit a little while ago, but with an overall leaf pattern. I love the leaf lace. It looks so delicate and fun, but is surprisingly easy to knit. If you're looking to knit lace for the first time, I can highly recommend this designer in general. Another leaf lace pattern from the same designer is the Flurry of Leaves cowl. This one has the design going horizontal while the last one was vertical. This one may be a little bit larger, a little more open, a little lighter. I love them both. Next up is the Sockhead cowl. This is a straight tube cowl with ribbing at each end and stockinette in the middle. As the description says, that makes it an ideal project for traveling or TV knitting, and I totally agree. Stockinette in the round, forever. I will butcher the name of this cowl. It's on screen for you. The name refers to the Stairs district in Hamburg, which I'm also pronouncing very American. These videos really test my ability to read words at all. Anyway, I love the shape of this cowl. I love the ribbing. I love the folded collar. This looks really cozy, and it looks like the type of knitting that is interesting to do, but still quick. Up next is the 100 Stitch Snood by No Frills Knitting, and No Frills is correct. This is just a perfect little stockinette tube to keep your neck warm and add interest to your outfit. This would be a perfect first circular knitting project for beginners. Next, we have the Secret Skein cowl. I love the shape and airiness of this one. This is knit seamlessly from the top down with elongated stitches and comes with a photo tutorial for the elongated stitches. I've recently fallen in love with elongated stitches, so this one is definitely going on my list. The Paris in Berlin cowl is knit to look like a shawl, but without the draping and adjusting and even pinning shawls can require. I am no shawl hater or anything, but I definitely get it. This pattern has a subtle and delicate diamond pattern that adds some nice texture as well. The Copilot cowl is knit mesh panels separated with garter stitch sections to add structure. This one is long and narrow, so it can go around the neck 2 or 3 times for added warmth, but it still only uses 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. It looks like the mesh uses up so little yarn that you get some extra length out of it. Is it wise to be drinking spicy coffee while recording? No! The Willow Cowl is a beautifully textured cowl with a cute edge detail. The texture is achieved with only knit stitches, a basic decrease, and yarn overs, so it should be pretty beginner friendly. Next up is the Slip It Cowl. This cowl has a cool geometric design that reminds me of window panes. This is also a great beginner pattern. The Ravelry description says you only need to know how to cast on, knit in the round, knit through the back loop, purl, and bind off. The Kashi Cowl is lace knit in the round, and it also reminds me of leaves, but different from the first two. It looks like leaves falling in different directions, and the overall effect is really cool. From the Ravelry description, this piece is a great introduction to lace knitting. The Irish Mesh Cowl is also long and narrow to be looped around the neck multiple times if desired. I've never used the Irish mesh stitch, but it looks neat, and this project looks like a quick and interesting one. Next up is the Rochambeau Cowlet, which stretches a small amount of yardage into an impressively large accessory. This pattern is also written in 2 different gauges, so you can use fingering or sport weight for a more delicate accessory, or worsted or bulky weight for a cozier piece. The Beanpole Cowl is a simple one. It looks like it uses only knit and purl stitches to create this interesting shape. I like the alternating sections of ribbing, and I bet this would be another good beginner piece. It's also free. The Appia Cowl is, from the description, a lacy light cowl shawl hybrid, knit partially in the round in an all-over Roman stripe stitch pattern. The shape is made to resemble a semicircular shawl. This one has some amazing texture and would be perfect for a semi-solid color yarn, in my opinion. Next up is the Shetland Lace Cowl, which was inspired by traditional Shetland lace designs. This is worked flat and then seamed, and the length and width can both be adjusted by increasing or decreasing pattern repeats. The description also states that gauge is not important, and this can be adapted to many yarn weights. The Seeds to Flowers Cowl is a super intricate lace design with optional beading. There's a lot going on here, but the result is beautiful. According to the description, the size can be easily adjusted by working more or fewer rows of the stockinette body. This is based on a shawl design converted into a cowl. Next up is the Marigram Cowl, which uses the wave lace stitch to create an effect reminiscent of the incoming tide. This pattern includes both written and chart instructions, and the circumference is easily customizable in either size offered. The Summer Heat Cowl is a simple textured piece, and from the description, was designed with burning hot days of California weather in mind. The up and down movement of the V-stitch pattern reminds me of heat waves coming off the roofs, the sidewalk, cars, pavement, etc. This pattern was designed to highlight variegated yarn. Our last knit pattern is the Yolanda Cowl. This is an eyelet and garter stitch bandana-shaped cowl worked flat and seamed. This looks like it would also be a good beginner project for knitters who are working on shaping and basic mesh or lace techniques. Moving on to crochet, we have 20 more patterns, so I'm just going to keep going at full speed. First up, we have the Dewdrop Fairies Cowl. This is a delicate mesh design that can be crocheted in lace, light fingering, or sport weight for different effects. The size of this piece is easily customizable. Next we have the Playtime Cowl designed by Knitty Natty, which uses crisscross stitches and a crab stitch border to create this fun shape. This looks like it would be an easy enough pattern to memorize after a few repeats while still being interesting to work up. I initially didn't intend to include patterns that required extra notions, but I love a button-up cowl and the wrought iron cowl is perfect. I couldn't not include it. One of the benefits of the buttons is that you can wear this cowl multiple ways. This design was inspired by wrought iron railings and balconies in the French Quarter of New Orleans. The Summer Infinity scarf is a really interesting airy lace pattern. The yardage is a little over 1 skein, but it looks to be easily adjustable, so I'm still including it. In a cotton yarn, I could see this being a great warm weather accessory. The Leap into Spring cowl uses alternating solid and mesh sections to create a perfect transitional piece for the warming weather. This is another pattern that should be easily adjustable to different sizes. Next up is the Bandanarama cowl, which is, per the description, worked on the bias in a modified linen/moss stitch pattern. This is a classic bandana cowl shape with some added texture, and it looks like it would work up super quick. The Monet cowl is a classic granny stitch triangle bandana shaped cowl that you can work in any size. You just work until you run out of yarn. The granny stitch looks so good with variegated or short color change yarn as seen in the sample photos. This would be a great pattern for an adventurous beginner crocheter. Next up is the Copenhagen cowl, which is an all-over V-stitch cowl that looks both easy and quick to work up, but gives you an airy finished piece with great texture. The Frozen Beauty neck warmer is definitely a colder weather piece with the cozy folded collar. This cowl includes multiple lace stitches, so it would be a great piece for any crocheter who is trying to learn new stitches. The overall effect is an elegant Victorian-inspired accessory. Next, we have the Lotus cowl, a tall cowl meant to scrunch for additional warmth, but you can certainly make it shorter for warmer weather by including fewer repeats. This pattern includes something I can only think to describe as a buttoned loop in the back to keep the cowl scrunched. It looks very cool. I haven't seen that done in a crochet pattern before. The Nihilist cowl has such a perfect introductory paragraph, I have to read it to you in full. Yarn and Star Wars are two of the great loves in my life. In Star Wars lore, there is a Sith Lord called Darth Nihilus who has an insatiable hunger. That's exactly how I feel when it comes to buying single skeins of beautiful yarn. I purchase them, but then have no idea what kind of project to make with limited yardage. The Nihilist cowl is specifically designed to use that one special skein of fingering weight yarn that has been hibernating in your stash so that you can enjoy its beauty out in the world. We have the Pufftastic bandana cowl up next, which uses a puff stitch variation on the popular V-stitch, which adds some unique texture to this granny stitch bandana cowl. This pattern includes instructions for all the special stitches used, so while it is an intermediate pattern, it might be a good transition piece for experienced beginners. The Autumn Leaves cowl is our first leaf design in the crochet section. From the description, the stitch pattern is relatively easy, incorporating clusters to create the falling leaves effect. The finished piece looks airy and lacy for a lightweight accessory. Next is the Field of Poppies cowl, inspired by Monet's paintings of a French poppy field. This pattern uses simple stitches to create an intricate lacy effect with multiple styling options. The River cowl pattern includes options for a long infinity scarf or a tall cylinder cowl in a wave design using only simple stitches. This would be a perfect piece for a beginner who knows basic stitches. Next is the Celestial Loop cowl. which is crochet made to look like knit stitches. I love the texture of this piece along with the simple twist for visual interest. From the description, this pattern includes clear, full written instructions for easy step-by-step guidance, a detailed photo tutorial to walk you through the beginning, and a video tutorial for visual learners. Up next is the Venetian Carnival Cowl. This is another button-up cowl with an interesting wavy button band. The body uses front and back post double crochet to create a textured and mildly structured final piece to support the weight of the buttons. The Aspen Chroma Cowl is another beautifully textured piece with alternating sections. This pattern also includes instructions for DK and worsted weight versions as well. The description says this piece works up quickly as it uses mostly double crochet stitches. Next is the Carolina Chevron Cowl, which, as the name suggests, uses a chevron stitch to create a texture reminiscent of rolling hills. This pattern was written for various yarn weights, making it a good option for any single skein. Our last crochet pattern is the Dreamscape Cowl, a simple infinity-style mini scarf with an eyelet design. It looks like this would be easy to adjust to your preferred circumference and height as well. Just like last time, we actually have one more pattern, but it includes both knit and crochet for our multi-talented fiber enthusiasts. The Gelato Cowl uses 2x2 ribbing and a waffly, meshy crochet stitch for the body. I love the texture of this piece. It has the look of the waffle stitch without the extra weight. There we have it, 20 knit patterns, 20 crochet patterns, and a couple of bonuses. I do intend to keep this single skein series going, so if you have any favorites that I missed, feel free to share those in the comments. If you've made any of these, let us know how it went. That's all I have for you today. As always, don't forget to rest and stretch. Always take care of your joints, but also go and live your best yarny life. And I will see you next time.